This week on Techopia Live, we're at the University of Ottawa's new STEM building to talk about a made-in-Ottawa engineering marvel. Equispheres is developing a fine metallic powder for use in 3D printing and manufacturing. It's even attracted attention and investment from Lockheed Martin. We'll hear more about this Ottawa firm today on Techopia Live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Techopia Live. I am your host, Craig Lord, and as I mentioned in my intro, we are at the University of Ottawa's new STEM building. It opened up just last month, and we're here to talk about a cool Ottawa company that has its roots in some really cool engineering. Before we get to Equispheres, though, I want to introduce Valerie Sampson, my co-host for the episode. She is the Marketing Communications Manager for the University of Ottawa Engineering. Valerie, can you tell us a little bit about this cool new building?
Yes, of course. Thanks, Craig. So welcome to the STEM complex at the University of Ottawa. We just opened it last month. So it's a brand new building. On the first floor, what's really interesting is that we have collaborative and prototyping spaces that are open to all students on campus. We really want to encourage the interdisciplinary work between students of different faculties, different backgrounds. We also have all these new spaces will now support our engineering, design-focused engineering curriculum. So students will not only be able to design their prototypes in courses, but they'll be able to build them for real clients, test them, and then reiterate. So we're quite excited about that. And as you can see behind us, we have the John McIntyre team space, where all of our teams, competitive teams, work on their prototypes, and they'll go represent the Faculty of Engineering at different competitions, nationally and internationally. And lest we forget the research labs that we have here in the complex. We have some hydraulics, mechanics, structures, fluids labs that our researchers are working from, and also collaborating with industry.
And those collaborations with the industry segues very nicely, thank you, Valerie, into our guest today. Kevin Nicholds is here, the CEO of Equispheres. I've teased it a little bit in the intro there that there's this very cool metallic powder that you're developing at Equispheres. Can you tell me what makes this powder so unique when it comes to its 3D printing applications, Kevin?
Thanks, Craig. Well, we learn new things about our powder every day, it seems. So our powder is, as the name implies, it's equal and spheres. So we have the world's only spherical powder that is uniform in size and material properties. So why that's important today is that with additive manufacturing or the 3D printing of metals, you're using a laser to weld powders that are 50 microns in diameter, and you're making very sensitive aerospace parts or parts for defense or medical. So, unlike with plastic 3D printing, there's not a lot of room for error, and these things are going to fly up into the sky or space. So it's very, very important that the material properties are equivalent. And the challenge out there today is that legacy metal powder is made in a very chaotic fashion, and they're all different shapes and sizes, different properties. So no surprise when you use that ingredient in the metal additive manufacturing process, you get porosity and inconsistent material properties. So you have to design an extra safety factor around it, extra weight, or not do some of the things that you want to do. So it's holding back this industry. And this whole additive manufacturing metals industry is one of the world's fastest growing industries. It grew about 80% year over year just last year. It's going to be in the tens or hundreds of billions. I think McKinsey forecasts it's going to be up to $200 billion. So it's a big thing, and we just feel we're in the right place at the right time with this uniform material. So we have global demand from pretty much every major aerospace company, defense, medical, automotive, European automotive makers. All of the interest in our powder has all been inbound. So we've tried to keep a very quiet profile over the last few years, but that's just changing this summer now.
So obviously a very cool application, something that requires a lot of spending on your part when it comes to R&D, I imagine. I think, Valerie, there was a bit of something we can touch on here with University of Ottawa. I'll pass the mic to you for that.
Thanks. Yeah, I was wondering how you've worked with post-secondary institution on your technology, on developing your technology.
That's a great question, and it's really it's on our top of our mind. So we work with about 5 or 6 different universities. We have 2 existing NSERC CRD projects on the go. We have an NSERC Engage project. We've been working with Ottawa U in the past, funding a MyTax project, and we're just about to start another one. The universities, it sort of falls into 2 categories. Some of it's fundamental research where we try to understand properties of our powder, like the moisture absorption or custom alloys, because the alloys that people used to use for casting aren't exactly the right ones for additive manufacturing. So we'll do some alloy development, reactivity studies, so focused research. And then on the other hand, we're trying at the same time to uncover the value of our products. So we'll work with universities on mechanical testing, fatigue testing, understand how our powder can make lighter, stronger parts. We did one of the greatest learnings that we had was with Ottawa U on a cold spray applications where you just basically accelerate powder to 1 kilometer a second and it forms a mechanical bond with the substrate. And Ottawa U uncovered that our powder adhered to the surface at least 3 times better than other powders. So that learning has helped us work with some huge billion-dollar US companies. So we have a whole variety of things, and with the universities, we've been fortunate to be very well funded. Our challenge is just getting the results we want soon enough and getting the right partners. We're very lucky actually being right here in Ottawa. One of the things we learned when we started learning about cold spray was that 2 of the world's leaders were here in Ottawa. You know, the National Research Council in Ottawa, you were acknowledged as top 5 in the world in this field. And this is a field that we actually didn't know about when we started the company. This is sort of adjacent to cold spray. So we were quite happy to learn about that.
Yeah, it's very cool to hear about what's happening in Ottawa and finding those kind of cool happenstances that, hey, we're doing the same thing right next door. But as you mentioned a little bit earlier, there's been a lot of inbound interest for this powder and its applications. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think Equispheres has raised around more than $20 million now at this point from angels and large companies such as Lockheed Martin earlier this spring investing US $5 million in the company. Since the spring, since you've landed that investment and been working with this titan of the defense sector, how have things changed at Equispheres in Ottawa?
We're still on the same trajectory that we were before. We did last week just get confirmation of an $8 million loan from the Business Development Bank of Canada, which is great. And it was sort of in recognition of the sustainability aspect of what we're doing, and we're working with SDTC as well. We have some really great orders and interest from some global leaders also for our powder. So we're just trying to scale up as fast as we can. You know, we're in Ottawa, so Ottawa's it's a tech capital. It's not typically necessarily as much the material science and engineering. So we're trying to hire. We're hiring systems engineers, manufacturing engineers, controls engineers, material scientists. So trying to find the right kind of people is a challenge because we really want the best of the best, and we want to work with universities like Ottawa U on either hiring graduates or working with people on the way. So the thing with us, it's a classic startup. Everything sort of had to happen yesterday. So for us, it's just ramping up our production, our learnings, our applications knowledge as quickly as we can because we know we have something really special, and we don't want to miss this great opportunity.
And a great point on the hiring needs for Equispheres. Valerie, I think obviously getting graduates hired is something that you're concerned about, so I'll pass the mic to you for that.
Yes, with all your scaling up, I assume you'll be hiring new graduates, and I was wondering what you're looking for in hiring engineering grads.
So, I mean, you're always looking for smart people, first of all, and I think there's a variety of positions. We're sort of erring on, people with a lot of experience on the high end now, because what we do is it's combines a whole bunch of different areas of engineering. And so there's a lot of experience required for some of this, but other areas, you're looking for specialties, you're looking for your next great employees. Like we have huge hiring plans, right? So we want to hire a mix of very experienced and then sort of the best and the brightest out of the universities. And it's always nice to work with people before they even graduate, because then you know what you're getting. So that really seems to me to be a real win-win.
So taking advantage of co-op programs, placements, that and summer jobs to get in the door early. So yeah,
that's right.
well, excellent, Kevin and Valerie. It's been a fantastic discussion. I think we learned a lot about what Equispheres is doing, what University of Ottawa is doing to maybe even make that talent pipeline for companies like Equispheres, as well as help them to develop these innovative products for the global manufacturing market. So I want to thank you both very much for joining us at Techopia Live today. Before I let you go for joining us this week, I want to thank a couple of our sponsors without whom this show would not be possible. I want to start with Number Crunch, offering virtual CFO services for SaaS firms in Ottawa. There's also Pearlie Robertson Hill and McDougall, a leader in business and tech law. There's TD Bank, which is offering specialized programs for tech firms. And finally, I want to thank Stratford Managers, offering services to scale up your ventures. And obviously, you've seen where we're at today. I want to thank the University of Ottawa Engineering Department for having us at the STEM building. They're creating the next generation of technical talent, and companies like Equispheres are hoping to take advantage of that. So thank you very much, Valerie, again, for having us here. It was fantastic to be here. Kevin, thank you very much for joining us. If you want more Techopia content, go to techopia.ca for daily articles. Techopia.email is where you can sign up for our newsletter. And please do join us on YouTube and Facebook next week for the next episode of Techopia Live. Thanks very much.